Okay, so we're going to start, since you guys are already down, that's perfect. We can start laying on the roller. So being supported from your head to your tailbone here. If you feel like you want a ball between your thighs to help you engage your inner thighs, that's going to be helpful. The feet would be about 4 to 5 inches apart, and you can squeeze the ball between the upper thighs. And if you do want weights for the arm work, we have 2-pound weights over in the closet. That's a nice option here to help open up your chest a little bit more and also firm up a little bit of the arm musculature while we're working. So just be sure that your head is supported, your skull is supported on your roller and your tailbone as well. If you feel like you're unsteady here with your balance, you can keep the knees closer in and the feet a little wider. And now from here, extend the arms out to the side, back of the hands rest on the ground, and rock a little side to side. You can give yourself that nice massage anywhere the body is touching the roller. So across the skull, between the scapula, on your sacrum. And then of course you get the shift of weight in your feet as you go back and forth. With the hands grounded here, pressing the back of the hand into the floor, you'll get a little more stretch here across the chest, across your pecs, as you roll side to side. Then we're coming back to center. Spread your feet into the ground. Think of them sinking into the floor like we're sinking into quicksand. We lift the arms up and hook the air above your chest. Big embrace, and then exhale, pull the arms open slowly out and down. Use the full breath to go all the way down for the hands to reach the ground. And then inhale, lift. Again, use the full inhale on the rise up. And then exhale and feel like you're stretching the space open, like it's palpable between your fingertips. Stretch it open and then let the arms rise again. You pull the air in with your breath and also with your arms, and then exhale the air out of your lungs. Think of that expelled air pushing the arms aside and down to the ground. Once more, the arms rise. The shoulder blades will widen and still stay towards the ground here without force. And then exhaling, pulling the arms open. Take your time, resist gravity on the way down. Now we lift the arms up. Arms are apart from the chest. And exhale, just lift the blades melt beneath you towards the floor around the roller. Inhale, and you slowly the shoulders up as you reach the hands high. And then exhale, the collarbones widen as the blades sink down to embrace the roller beneath your body. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale and release. Do that again. So there's a full inhalation. The lungs expand, the belly expands too, and then exhale. Think of knitting your navel down into your spine as the ribs knit together around the decrease in the lung size capacity. So we're coming up with the arms rising here, shoulders curve up around the edges of your ribs and down, and the blades slide down to hold the roller. One more. This will help release the upper back and the neck. One of the reasons we love to do this exercise. So turn the palms forward as you inhale, and exhale, glide the arms down at your side, reach long through your fingertips towards the end of your mat. On the inhale, we lift the arms to 90 degrees, weight in the shoulder blades. On the exhale, the blades slide towards your waist as the arms go back towards your ears. Reversing the direction, the arms rise, and then exhale all the way down and low. Gaze to the ceiling, eyes slightly forward. Just be sure your neck feels comfortable. If for any reason it doesn't, add some padding under there, like maybe a folded towel or a sweatshirt, whatever you need, whatever you have. Arms lower with control to the ground simultaneously. One more. Inhale up in the air. The arms draw an arc on each side of your body like a rainbow. Stretch back and reach behind you without lifting the rib cage. Keep the abdominals engaged just enough to keep them steady, and then bring the arms forward. And exhale all the way forward and down. And we say that because let's try just one more. So lift the arms up. And this time you take the arms back. Go ahead and reach your hands back for the ground. And you may feel that your ribs like separate in the front and rise. You have a little extra arch in the spine. So that can feel good in the abs, but it's actually shortening your lats in the back. So we're going to bring the arms forward and then exhale all the way down. And so in Pilates, typically we choose to do the version where the arms go up to the ceiling. And then as they go back, you only go back as far as you can keep the rib cage organized in the same relationship. And that way you'll get a little work in the abs, but you'll also start to open and lengthen into your lap. So bring the arms forward last time and exhale all the way down here to the ground. Next, bring your hands to your shoulders, to the little circles with the elbows. So the elbows pull forward and long by your hips to ease the shoulders away from the ears. They go up, out wide, around and down. Circling the arms here on the side of the body. The surface of the joint is actually parallel to the walls as you're laying here on the roller. Right? So we lift again. And exhale and circle around. Every inhale starts the movement. It's a shorter inhale and a longer exhale. That way you get to really pull the abdominal wall down deep at the end of the exhalation. And you also get to relax the nervous system with that longer exhale. The thing to remember when times are tough or tense. And let's reverse. Lower the elbows down, circle wide, around, up, forward, and in. Just go to a range of movement that feels good in your shoulders, good in your arms. We're not trying to force a larger movement, you're trying to explore your way into a bigger range of motion as the body warms up. And as things start to stretch open and release for you. Just breathe through this. Again, one breath, one circle. Shorter inhale, longer exhale. As you rotate the arm on the joint surface, feel how that changes the stretch you feel in the muscles in the arms and also in your chest and your pecs. Let's bring the arms forward, lengthen out here at your side. Full arm circles, arms lift in unison and parallel. Take them to what we call your working level. The ribs are still grounded, and you circle wide around and forward. Turn the palms down, and we do it again. Arms lift up and parallel. They should end up the same height from the ground, and then you circle around and forward. If you've got more range of motion in one arm, try to limit it to the tighter arms movement, and then gradually you'll open them both up. If you go to the full range of movement at both sides, you'll end up continuing to keep that asymmetry in your range here in your body. And we're working always to find more symmetry for better alignment throughout the whole system. Let's reverse, so palms up to circle out wide around, draw your wingspan, reach the arms up a little bit as they go behind you, exhale, press the arms long and down. Palms can be spread wide open, fingers can reach out into their full span. And then let's do that once more, circle back, feel the stretch in your waist, front, back, and side, and then exhale, push the air out of your lungs as you lower the arms down at your side. All right, we're sliding off of the roller here. Take it across under your scapula for a little bit of flexion extension with the upper body. So you'll lean back. The roller will be maybe sort of at the tip of the scapula, the lower rib cage. These can stay bent. Support your head with your hands, either overlap the hands or intertwine the fingers. And we inhale to go back and look behind you. The hands support the weight of the head and help you support the angle so it's appropriate for you. Chin to chest as you exhale, elbows can narrow and pull in as they aim down at your navel, you look down your nose towards your belly also. We inhale to go back into extension. Let the head fall heavy, open the elbows wide and down to open your chest to maximum stretch, and then exhale, coming forward and up. With the upper spine, you're also curling the tail up and imprinting the low back into the mat. Similarly, as you go back into extension, the tail will drop. The arch of the back increases at both ends of the spine. And exhale forward here, breathe out completely, pump the air out of your lungs. Let's add some knee folds. So we're going back first into extension. Look behind you, stretch your throat. As you exhale, chin to chest, pick up your right knee. Bring the knee towards your right chest. The gaze is still down your midline over your navel. And then we're lowering the foot down as you move into full extension of the spine. Elbows fall back, head falls back. Exhale, tip the head up, chin to chest. Pull the left leg up as you rise here. Pull your waist towards the mat underneath you. And we're lowering the leg down again. Slowly with control so the foot is grounded when the head is reaching back and it's full range. Lifting again, you Tip your head up, you start to bend through the neck, the upper back, the mid back sinks to the floor as you move that right leg in. We're gonna lower it down, work with your breath. Use that to find the pace of your movement. And one more like this. Exhale to lift the leg, to lift the torso into flexion. And then inhale to release the leg down as you arch the body over the roller. Feel the roller move a little bit underneath you, giving you a little extra massage. So we're coming up now, coming up and twisting to the right as you lift the right leg up. Take elbow to knee or armpit towards the inner thigh. And then unwind the body, lay back down in extension as you lower the front. We're coming up again here and twisting to your left. The right hip is anchored down here into the ground, into your mat. And exhale, unwind and lower into extension. Just do 2 more sets. Exhale, come up and twist right. Inhale to take it back. Hopefully you feel that your abs are warming up and also your back is warming up as you look into the stretch. You're twisting to our left. Coming back down, over the curve of the roller, it should be supported for your spine. Exhale, coming up. This will be your last set here. Twisting towards the right. Lay it on down. Arch the spine here. Lift the ribs, separate them in the front, take it together in the back, and then we're coming up and spiraling here to the left to come back down into one more extension. And then just keep your feet grounded, pull yourself up a little bit, and let's roll the roller back, take it under your neck. Just hold the hands to the outside ends of the roller and slowly turn your head side to side. Just giving yourself a nice massage here into the occipital ridge, the base of the skull. And keeping your shoulders relaxed and easy onto the ground, the scapula heavy into the floor. You might notice some points of tension. If you find any points that really need help, just stay there and do micro movements back and forth there. You can also try, when you come to center, bring the gaze a little higher, and then go from there side to side so that you work into a little different angle of the skull. Releasing some of the connective tissue there. The other option, of course, would be to tuck your chin down and roll side to side. So you can really fine tune this for where your body needs it, where you need the release. A lot of my clients get rollers specifically so they can do this before they go to sleep at night. Or sometimes they'll do it between the different parts of their day, or between their work schedule and their family life. Of course, that boundary's getting, more porous all the time. Sometimes you just need a little release. Okay, and then we can come forward and up. So pull the legs in, pull yourself up with your core. Very nice job. All right, we'll put the roller aside. Hopefully that felt great, right? A little gift to you on a rainy, gray day. And let's sit near the front of the mat and start taking it back for hundreds. So you can sit upright, kind of lift the tail behind you, the arms can extend forward, or you can hold onto your legs. As you look down, curve the tail up, you're rounding the back to sit behind your sits bones. Go down over your sacrum, that big triangular bone near the base of the spine, down to your upper curl, and then pull your legs in. Maybe hands and legs, pull yourself a little deeper into the curve, arms wide. Extend the legs up to the ceiling, reach the arms long, and you pump. Inhaling. 5 beats here, maybe 4 if you're pumping slower. And it's a full breath in, followed by a long, steep exhale. Look at your abs and watch them expand and lift as you breathe in, and pull down and deep as you exhale. We're using the lowest abdominal, the transversus, to force the exhalation to strengthen that low part of the core and to really empty the lungs to the extent that we can. There's always a reserve of air in the lungs, but we want to get rid of as much of the air in there as possible. So the next breath in can give us more fresh oxygen. You exhale out the impurities that the lungs collect here from the blood. Breathing in completely, exhale it out. Stretch the legs long and really squeeze them together. And as you warm up, you might be able to take the legs a little lower. Be cautious though that you're not overarching the back. Try to keep pulling the waistline down. One more breath here. And then pull the knees in. Lay your head down. You can lower the feet with bent knees. Arms open out to the side, palms up, and then Turn your head opposite from your knees as your knees swing and sway from one side to the other. Get a little massage here. Across the lower back, across the sacrum, and feel that stretch across the hip into the glute, into the lower back. Also into the abs as you keep the scapula grounded. The shoulder blades stay on the mat beneath you. Just one more set. Maybe breathing into one side, exhaling to the other. Come back to center. And then we'll extend the legs forward, the arms up to the ceiling, drop your shoulders into the ground, feel the width of the collarbones, and then you can bring the arms back without overarching the wrists, same as we did on the roller. Keep the wrists pulled in a little bit so that they're flat here while you maintain the natural arch of your waistline off the ground. Roll up. You have the option to use a bare band around your legs, bring the arms forward, lift the head, exhale, and pull yourself forward, back over the legs here. The first one's always the hardest, both to activate the abs and the psoas, the hip flexor muscle, but also just because you may not be warmed up into flexion yet, and then we're coming back down. Another option you would have would be to use hand weights, because depending on the height of the arms, they can make the exercise easier or more difficult. So if you're holding weights and the arms are high by the ears, that's going to be a lot more difficult. If you're holding weights and the arms are lower, that's going to be a lot easier. So you always want to think about going to the range of movement that's going to challenge you, but still make the movement really successful and controlled as well as fluid. So we're rolling back here. Your arms can lift if you can support the descent of your body, the speed of that descent to the ground. And then you stretch the arms long behind you, opening the chest. Coming up again, you lift the arms, the shoulder blades sink. Lift your head, neck, and chest. Exhale to pick up the ribs. The shoulders not behind you. The ribs are sliding back between the scapula as the scapula fall around towards the front of your chest here in flexion. And then you're lengthening out through your legs, squeeze them together. A little more support here from your inner thighs into the pelvic floor, into the low abdominal wall. Stretch the arms behind you. Let's do one last one and make it your best. So we're coming up. Exhale, pull. Try to feel equal work on the right and left side of your body. You'll have a tendency to work harder on the stronger side. And it's just interesting to kind of feel that. You might even notice it if you go down, like if you're stronger on your right side, you might feel this little muscle on the right side of your spine as you go down onto your back. And then in that case, you would maybe think about like working harder to the left side of your body. Let's circle the arms around. And here, pull the right knee into your chest, embrace it in tight. And then the left one, pull it in. Just do some knee stirs, circling the knees away from each other, towards each other, moving the fiber and the femur on the hip socket. Do one more in this direction, feet come apart with the knees, and then reverse the circles. So the lower leg and the foot is just carrying on the movement of the thigh on the hip socket. We're oiling up the hips. For the next exercise, your single leg circle. So we're going to use the bare bands here and place it on the center of the band onto the ball of the right foot and the beginning of the arch of the foot. You can lift the leg if you want to come down to a seated position from here. So this is actually an exercise called tree, and then a little more advanced Pilates work. So you can go down and then lift the leg up to the ceiling and pull the leg back, get as much stretch in the back of the leg and your hamstring as you wish. Maybe do a little point flex here, reaching up to the ball of the foot, and then lifting the heel to get some length in the calf, a little bit more stretch in the back line of that leg. So we end with the soft point, and the elbows are pulling down towards your waist, down towards your hips. Left leg is stable on the floor. Inhale, we cross the right leg over, and then exhale, bring it out low, out to the side, and up to the ceiling. As you start, there's internal rotation of the leg as it crosses to the left, neutral at the bottom by the other leg. Exhaling, rotate to bring it to the sky, and at the top it's in neutral again. So keep the right hip down as the leg goes left, and then press the left side of the body into the ground as you pull the leg out to the right. The size of the circle feels great, right? Because you can really stretch the leg, the muscles around it. But we also are working to keep the pelvis grounded here, the body stable on the mat, like you're glued to the floor, like you're glued to your mat. Let's come to the top, do one more here. Really enjoy reaching out with the foot, creating some space in the joint, some length in the muscle. And then we lift to the top and reverse. Externally rotate, the leg moves right, the left side gets heavier. It sinks into the floor, then the right hip is heavy as you pull the leg across to the left and then up to the sky. So feel the weight shift in your body and work against it actively. I think you're pressing the opposite side of the body into the ground. So we're using opposing forces to keep our body balanced here against the movement, weight, and even the lack of flexibility that you might have in this movement. This is one of the ways we strengthen our core is by reaching the limbs away in a controlled way while keeping the whole torso, the pelvis grounded. So come to the top here, and we'll wrap the hand around the band, we'll wrap the band around the hand actually, and then take the right leg out to the side while holding the left side perfectly grounded. Press the hip into the floor, and then we can rock the leg a little bit towards your shoulder and away, easing those upper inner thigh muscles into a little bit more of a stretch. Angle your leg may not look like the person next to you, don't worry about that. Just see how it feels and how you can feel the work through your center, holding the hips down while you push the leg out and away. We'll exhale to lift the leg up to the ceiling, switch hands on the band. So now the left hand holds the strap and touch the right leg. Extend the right arm out, turn your head over your fingertips, reach the leg long in the opposite direction, and then rotate that right leg internally, not from the foot, not from the knee, but from the thigh. You'll feel that stretch into the glute, into the area by your sacrum, and maybe diagonally across the front of your rib cage into your chest. Exhale, we're coming down from the left shoulder to the waist, to the right hip, to lift the leg up. Give that leg a little pull back. Increase the stretch of the back line of your leg. Bend your knees necessary. Keep the stretch of strain out of the back of the knee. You can feel a stretch there, but not something that feels raw. And then you pull the knee into your chest. Embrace the leg in. Pull it tight. And then we'll extend the right leg forward next to the left one. Oh, feel the difference. It may have dropped even like half an inch or an inch closer to the ground, depending on how tight you were when you started. And definitely, like I feel that my right foot is more relaxed. It's more in a pointed, externally rotated position here. So is the right hip, a little more externally rotated. And definitely it feels happy, and the other one feels impatient. So let's pull the left leg into your chest here. I get it tight, and we put the band in. So as we lift the leg up, we can work into some point flex, reaching the right leg out directly in front of the hip socket. If the knee is bent because of hamstring tightness, that's fine. Just go where you feel a healthy stretch in the center of the hamstring muscle between your knee and your sits bone. We can change the muscle fibers in the middle of the muscle, at the edge of the muscle where the tendons are, not so much. And then some point, lift the leg, elbows grounded, reach them down so your shoulders move away from your ears, lengthening your neck, and we circle across the body. On the inhale, short inhale, long exhale, blow out to the side, around and up to the sky, the whole time being aware of the way that the legs movement makes the body want to shift its weight and rock on the mat, and then you're preventing it by your choice of where you put your attention, where you put your weight, where you put your effort. So keep reaching longer and longer with that leg as you push out into the band. Create some freedom here in the joint, some stretch and lengthen the muscles. We want long, strong muscles here. So when we work there, we're also stretching. And then do that again. The longer the exhale is, the more you're also engaging that abdominal wall, tightening up your core from that part of it. Coming around and coming all the way up to the sky. And we pause, get the stretch in the back of the leg. Now reverse, externally rotate to go to the left. Exhale, forward, around. push the foot up into the strap and reach the arms back into the mat for more stability to the upper part of the body, upper part of the torso to the ground. The breath leads you around, ends at the top of the movement. You should have a deep abdominal contraction at the top of the movement here, the end of the exhale. Now pause here at the top, left hand holds both ends of the band, and we'll open the left leg out while keeping the right hip down. That will give you more stretch in the inner thigh, more stretch across the front of the pelvic girdle, and you can rock the leg back and forth here. Right hip is heavy. And then exhale to pull the leg up to the ceiling, switch hands, cross it over. Extend the leg, extend the arm, reach out long here, and rotate the leg internally. Eventual goal, we would think like, after doing this for however long it takes, maybe my chest will be parallel to the ceiling, maybe my hips will be parallel to the wall. That's where we're headed, is more rotation in the spine, while you keep the scapula down. And then exhale, come across, right shoulder to waist to left glute to lift the left leg up. Pull it back a little bit, get a little deeper stretch in the back of the leg that feels healthy for you, not overstraining at the sit bone or at the knee. And then the band will come off and we hug the knee in tight. We brace it in. And then release that left leg forward next to the left. You probably feel more connection of the back of your leg into the mat and a little feeling of ease and openness in your hips. So now we pull the right leg in, hold onto the back of the thigh, lift the left leg up, lift your hip, neck, and chest, rock hard, coming up to sitting. Okay, rolling like a ball. So edges of the feet together, knees bent. Pull your tail up and rock back to balance on your sacrum, elbows wide. You look down your nose at your abs. Inhale, we lift the tail up over the shoulder blades. Exhale, come back up to balance point on the sacrum. By looking down the nose at the navel, keep your gaze fixed there. You protect the head from being smashed into the ground, which of course is not our objective. So edges of the feet pressed together. Here you could use a ball between your thighs. Or you actually, if you wanted to advance the exercise, you could take the ball between your heels and your butt. And then with a tighter position, roll back. It'll be much harder. You're going to have to use a lot more upper abdominals to come forward. So elbows widen forward, round your back as much as you can, roll there. And then come up, try to keep the heels closer in. Is going to make it more difficult. Yes, that's good. Good job. Feel how you have to really dive your head forward between your knees to make that work. So going back here. Exhale, come up. And just one more, whichever variation you're choosing. Roll to the blades, and off the ground, come up, feet off the floor. And now you can put the ball aside. We're moving into the ab series, beginning with the right hand on the right shin above the ankle, the left hand on the right shin below the knee. So you pull the shin up and push the hands down, you extend the left leg out. See how slowly you can roll your spine down so you don't fall, but you articulate your low back, your mid back, down to the ribcage, down to the tip of the blades. Pull that right leg in closer and eye upper and curl. Inhale, switch the legs. You should the right leg forward, you should pull the left one in. And you're switching them again. And inhale for one leg and exhale for the other. Your gaze is right down your midline and you're watching the tracking of your legs, reaching straight out of the socket. The path of the two legs is open about 4 to 5 inches probably. As you pull the leg in, push down with your hand, push up with your shin to feel that connection into your triceps, into your lats, into your external obliques. You want to feel the connection hand to leg to core. We end with the left leg in, pull the right leg in, one hand to each shin. Arms and legs lift up and away from center. Circle the arms wide and brace the legs into your chest, make them tight. This is called double leg stretch. So the arms stretch away too. As you advance, the legs go lower, the arms go lower, but without losing your torso positioning. When you start, everything's up high, and then you embrace it in. You find what works for you. Pull it in, and we're going to layer it down. Let's lower the feet and take the feet as wide as your mat. Arms open to the side, let both knees fall to the right. To get a little internal rotation through one leg, external rotation to the other, and then swing the legs to the other side. You can turn your hip away. I know our next is a little break with the ab series. This way, we're also working through the rest of the body. Time. Away from the angle that you're pointing towards, and come back to center. Now for scissors. Let's pull the left leg in, right leg up. Pull forward and up. We're going to start again from the top to go back into a really deep upper up curl. So sit upright, collarbones wide, and look down. Pull your tail forward and up so that your spine starts to make a C curve. We're rolling back into the upper up curl, hands free. We'll give you more work. As you find more control, stop at the tip of the legs. Let's lift the right leg up and flip the left leg off the ground. Hands wrapped around the ankle as close to as possible. Inhale and switch the legs. One leg lifts, the other leg stretches forward. You draw an arc in the air. You're pulling yourself up with your hands connect to the leg. Try to lift your torso a little bit higher. And then try to stay there as you release before you connect to the other leg. So you should feel it actually like bits of work into your bicep as you reach hold of that leg and pull it towards you. The knee can be a little bent if you need that for the hamstring. And then we're lifting both legs up and stay behind the base of the skull. Pull the head up, pull the elbows down and in, double leg, lower leg. So be very cautious here. We're only going to take the legs forward a few inches, maximum for right now, and then exhale, pull the belly deep and lift the legs up. So your psoas muscle, your main hip flexor, connects directly to your lumbar spine and your intervertebral discs. So we don't want to overwhelm them. We want to keep them in position and strengthen the muscles around them. So your psoas runs alongside the lower spine, and it's going to pay out to lower the legs with control, and then it's going to exhale and contract to lift the legs up. You may or may not feel that. You probably feel your abs, but your abs are working to keep the pelvis level against the weight and movement of the legs here. And this is serious stuff because the two legs weigh about a third of your body weight. You don't want them suspended from the spine out of control. You want to keep it in control here. Always. One more. Squeeze the legs together. Lift the head a little higher. Bounce on your tip of your blades up the top of your shoulders. And now we rotate to the right. Twist. Armpit to inner leg. And then twist to the other side. So the legs are really twisted. One goes in, one goes out. We come up high and deep. It's forward plus rotation to turn on those oblique abdominals and feel that lengthening stretch that can push your back as well. Opposite hip press it into the floor. Be sure you feel that too. And one more time to the left end. Pull your knees in. Gracefully lay your head down and rest. All right. So we're going to stretch the legs forward, stretch the arms back. Feel that length here in your abs. Definitely will enjoy that. It's like they deserve it. You deserve the stretch. You worked hard. And now we're lifting the arms after the blades, coming up for a seated spine stretch. And then chest coming up. Exhale. Pull yourself off the ground. Open the legs as wide as the mat. Bend your knees or elevate your hips on your yoga blocks if your hamstrings are tight. Your arms are parallel to the floor. We lightly press them down to lift the heart, to lift up to the halo. Look down your nose to your chin towards your chest, and then move your neck first with the movement of your head. Keep your shoulders back and see how far you can go with the second vertebra in your neck. And then we're moving forward to the upper back. Pull the waist back as you dive out, over, and down, and arc with your head to the space between your knees. The arms can stay by your ears here. Right, so you have a C-curve spine. If you have osteoporosis, you would have a hip hinge here and a flat back like a plank. But otherwise, we try to go into a C shape and now sink the tail and lift the back up like you're zipping an upper wall. The gaze direction comes to the horizon. Exhale, go over and down. Remember, head, then neck, then upper back, followed by the mid back, followed by the low back, and suck the waist back. The tail can go up a little bit. So you feel that contraction in the lower abdominal wall. And then as you start to come up, lift your tail behind you, push down for your sit bones. And come all the way up the collarbone, still lie here. Arms reaching forward, but the blades are pulled back just a little bit. So there's tension in both directions. So there's work in both directions. Exhale over again one more time. As your knee against the wall, you feel like off of it slowly, if you're going to take off a package. And then let's say you want to repackage it, you're going to zip that tape back up the wall. Right, lower the arms and come forward to your heels for open leg balance and rock your heel. So you get easier simple one to the back of your thighs. More difficult, hands between your legs, resting your hands on top of the shin right above the ankle, feet off the ground. Tail is curled up, upper up curl. Inhale and the right leg extends up. Use your full inhale to stretch the leg. Exhale to pull it back, arm inside the knee. The knees narrow the width of your shoulders. And then the left arm goes up, the left shoulder falls down your back. Your hand might rotate a little towards the outside of the ankle. And then it rotates around towards the inside of the ankle to get the arm inside of the leg. Right leg up. And exhale back down. Edges of the feet connect. You can firm up just slightly the inner thigh line. Extend the left. Very, very nice. Good balance points here. Both legs next. Both legs lift. Your heads can slide a little bit around so the thumbs are on top. Hands around to the outer edges. Stretch the legs straighter than if you can, and then pull it back in. If you're not straightening, know you're working towards that, right? Every time you do it, you're increasing that stretch, the flexibility that we lose from too much sitting, not paying attention to what our bodies are doing. Let's take it up one more time, get ready to roll. So we lift it up, step the waist back, curl the tail up. We lift the tail, roll back to your shoulder blades, and off the ground. Find the balance point, exhale, come forward and up. I know it's hard, right? You try to keep the legs as straight as possible, the arms straight. We'll have varying degrees of success on this at different points in our process. Yeah. And bring it back. And exhale forward. And one more time. Try to roll just like all the rolling exercises. Equal work right and left. So you roll straight down the middle of your mat, straight up the middle of your mat. And then here, close your legs together. Bend your knees if you need to. Extend the arms. This is the teaser position that we'll work for later in the program. Good. Bend your knees, be grounded. Sit upright. Maybe open the knees, pull your chest through, because I know that was hard with hip flexors. Yeah. And then coming up, we're going to roll back down. Arms extend out. Curve your body down. Into the mat with control, no falling, no collapsing, articulating down. And with corkscrew, you can use the TheraBand if you want, more difficult without. You could also take a ball between the sides of your arches, or you could just go with legs together. So extend the legs up, bend your knees if the legs are not vertical without that, right? Because you want your feet right over the pelvic floor, over your sits bones. And then we start the legs over to the right. Exhale forward and around. This is called corkscrew. So it's circle, but you're trying to push the opposite hip down so that you're still working to keep the pelvis rounded here. Then the right hip is down, as legs to the left. The left hip is down, as legs move to the right. Complete the circle at the top of the breath. So it's an inhale, short inhale, and a longer exhale for every circle that you're drawing. Even while I'm trying to keep the hips down, what I feel is that I'm getting a shift of weight around my sacrum, around the SI joints. I'd like you to feel that too. And then for the next one, just bend your knees in for a second. We're going to work with a controlled tip of the hips. So lift the legs up to the ceiling. This is just called windshield wiper or tick-tock. So think of taking your legs over to the right by lifting your left hip bone up. And only go over as far as you can prevent yourself from falling. Reaching out, pressing into your right arm. Exhale, and now pick your right hip up to come back across the sacrum. Keep lifting the right hip to take the legs over to the left. The shoulder blade stays down. You're getting a twist in your spine. Control it. Exhale, now lift the left hip. You're pulling it across towards the front of the body using those obliques. And then bring it over so the left hip keeps lifting, 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 rotating here to take the legs to the right. Exhale, pick up your right hip, pull it across the midline and over to the left to bring your feet over there. So this is a real different experience than just like laying on your back and swinging your feet from one side to the other to rock the pelvis, right? So we want to feel it in our core. We want to know where we're working from. The other isn't a bad choice. It's just a different choice, right? So anyway, so now from here, let's roll up to sitting croissant. So pull your left leg in, right leg up. Lift your head, roll forward and up. Open the legs wider than your mat. Sit elevated on your yoga blocks if you need that, because you want to get mobility in your spine. If you're locked down because of hamstring tightness, you're not going to feel this exercise in a really productive way. So arms out to the side, sit up tall, knees can bend. And then let's rotate to the right leg. So the left arm comes across, the right arm lifts. Dive over, you press the back of the left hand into the right leg to pull your chest around, to pull that right shoulder towards the spine. And then lift to come up, hold that amount of twist in your body, and then unwind, come around to the other side, and you dive and you stretch here. Anchor down for the opposite glute. Pull that left shoulder back and across the body. Look back for your fingertips. Lift to come upright, center, and then dive and stretch again. And the arms are going to slide in opposite directions, so you get some rotation in the neck, as well as in that low back, upper back, with the cervical spine to rotate two, come up right here, spiral back through center to the other side. And as you take the dive, think of your ear coming around to like listen to your knee. The arm shoots long. I know it's hard to see if the back wrist is bent, but try to feel it that can lengthen out, stretch the fingers away from the shoulder. And then come upright and center to lower the arms down when you're even. So you would go to the left to end. And then bring the legs back together. And we're going into swan. Let's do the standing version first, and then we'll use the roll. So come on up to stand. Okay. So starting here, balancing with a good start, right? So hands low on the belly, above the pubic bone, below the navel. You're pushing in with the hands to feel the flesh like contract underneath you. And then we're sliding the flesh up. Try to move it, try to lift your navel. As you come up by the rib cage, palms are up, thumbs point out. Try to lift the ribs one by one. Over the little bumps in the road here, those are your ribs. Up to the chest, lift the chest. Now you're not going forward. The belly is stretched here. Bring your hands up to your sternum, slide your hands up your sternum. We're going back above the bra line. Hands go out to the collarbones, to the shoulders, pull the elbows back down and in. Let your hand pull back. If that feels good for you, if not, less mobility there. And then exhale, zipping up from the bottom to the top. To come back to center, the arms descend. See how long you feel there in that front line? It's crazy, right? Because we're all the time slumping like this, right? Even if we have less tension, it happens. So let's do that again. So this is your swan. The idea is that you're not increasing the curve of the low back or the neck, but pushing the butt forward and bending more that way. We're trying to keep the extension happening in the upper back, the thoracic spine. So the hands here will remind you not to go forward, but to go up. So you lengthen that rectus abdominal line, press the rectus line here. Bring up ribs, chest rises. Expand the sternum. The breastbone is made out of a theraband. Pull the elbows down, wide in the back of the heart. So you're the tube of toothpaste here. So it squeezes you from the bottom, the toothpaste comes up, the water goes back. Out of the top of the tube, and release out. And then just stand, breathe, and notice the difference in your breath. So great, you guys look amazing. So let's try to reproduce that sensation, that feeling, that stretch in the front as you lay onto the ground here with your arms over the rollers. This will be more difficult. We can thank gravity for that. There's many good things that it does. Assisting you with extension is not one of them. Well, standing, it helps you. But laying down is not in our favor. So the arms extend out to be a little wider than your chest. Ears between arms, pressing the top of the feet into the ground. And then we pull the head and the heart forward. We widen the collarbones as we pull the legs down our back. to lift up and try to feel the pubic bone pressing into the ground, maybe the foot pressing down. The pelvis is heavy and we stretch the abdominal line coming up. And then think of a roller across your low back, pull you down to the ground so you're releasing the stretch in the abs and you're gaining more length in the back of your body. Head floats off the ground so you can breathe. And now again, scapula down your back, heart and head move forward with your gaze across the floor, up the wall. Imagine rolling your spine around the large ball you're resting on your waist. And then release it down, that ball rolls up your body to take you down like you're under a rolling pin, flattening you out on the ground. One more like that. Can you feel that stretch? It's amazing, right? So you want in the chest, you're pulling the blades down, you're using your lats, push down your arms, you lift up with your eyes, up with your heart, up with your chest, pull the navel towards the heart, and then release on out. It's almost like you're doing spinal articulation with the front of your body. Beautiful. Sit back in your child's pose. Arms lengthen forward here, head down to the ground. Back your spine coming up. So from there, let's look at a little bit of teaser next. It's a little earlier than we normally would do it. So we're going to skip through some of that middle part of the series. Time to get stretching. We're starting here with more core work and flexion in the spine. Okay, so let's use the bear beds. Maybe fold it in half, like so. That's half the way. And then you can take the center of that folded band around the center of both feet, around the foot and arch. So the band's pretty short now, and that's okay. And then we're going to pick up the legs as we rock back onto the sacrum. Elbows can go wide and move forward. So now from here, extend the legs forward, the arms may straighten slightly, and then fold the knees back in. So you're trying to keep your body in like a J shape, right? We're not up on the sits bone and arching the back, because that's going to be really hard on the low back. Sit back on your sacrum, curl the tail up, keep the belly pulled deep and down, and a little bit of flexion there, and then reach the legs up and out, and pull it back in. If they go too high, you might pull over backwards. If you go too low, your back will arch, and we don't want that. You're going to feel the work here in your core, and then pull it back. One more like that. Reach it up and out. Remember we did that position earlier, right? This position, that's the teaser pose. And then we pull it back in. Okay, and now from here, we're going to hold the feet where they are. So to curl the tail up and roll the low back down. Don't move your feet. Move your low back down, maybe to your waist. Then lift your head, hold the arms, hold your feet steady, coming up to pull yourself upright. This is something you could also practice against the wall with your feet to the wall. So we curve the tail up and roll down. Be sure you're imprinting every inch of your back into the floor. Down a little further if you can. And then lift, upright curl, pull yourself up. Go slow enough that you feel a little trembling in your core. That's good. And one more time like that. Pull the feet steady. Lift the tail around the back. Keep pulling the tail up till you get down to the base of the ribs. And then we're coming up again. The arms are totally working, but I just want to work slow enough that you're not just moving with momentum, you're moving with your own effort, your own force. So let's lower this down. Check out your hands. That was tighter on the strap than I expected. And of course, having long legs is both a blessing and a curse in some respects, right? So we're going to do a combination of those two things by using the full length of the floor. That'll make less pressure into the hands, but also less support. So the band goes around the feet again. You choke up on the band. And then you want to curl your tail up and find that balance point on your sacrum. For most women, toes are eye level. For most guys, the feet are a little bit lower. And now from here, start with the pelvic tuck. I'll just lift my elbows so you can see. So you curl the tail up and you round the low back down. And then the feet slowly push away as a counterbalance to the movement of your spine towards the ground. And then you're coming on up, holding the knees in, take your time. Work your spine up, the same work that you feel doing a roll up, you should feel here in midair. You did great, good job. Curl the tail up. You're down past your tailbone into the sacrum. Legs reach out, don't go too low, don't go too far. You can actually go down, if you wanted to, the heels would touch where the tip of the blades touch or your upper curl. And then start to lift the legs, curl the upper body, pull the legs in as you rise. Let's do one more like that. Good job, hold that balance. You want to figure out where your center of balance is in your body. It's a little different for guys than it is for women, right? Women have heavier, wider pelvises. Guys tend to have more weight in their shoulders and their shoulder girdle. Nice work. Did you guys all feel okay with that? It looked really beautiful. Yes. And you warmed up everything you had. Excellent. All right. From here, let's go into some planks. So we're working again here on a front plank. If wrists are an issue for you, there's two things you can do. One would be to like roll up the end of your mat. So a lot of times people have trouble, if you've done a lot of yoga, you may know this already, like actually putting weight into your hand when the wrist is at 90 degrees can be a lot of strain. So if that's the issue, you want to roll up your mat and then have the heel of your hand on the mat and your fingertips to the ground, right? Because that'll make a less intense angle here at your wrist. If it's too much, like if you know that you have an injury in your wrist, an old injury, you might want to practice this on your forearms, which is another way to do the planks. But let's just see how it goes, right? So you spread your hands wide here, spread your fingers open, and shift your weight forward from your quadruped position so your shoulders are right over your wrist. And if that feels like it's uncomfortable, you better roll up the mat and elevate the heel of the hand. So then one leg goes back, toes are curled under, and move a little more forward. And then the other leg goes back. We're going into Pilates V, so heels together, legs together here. And then from here, think about being in a long line from the top of your head to your tail to your heels. So push the floor down with your arms. You're going to lift through the serratus into the back. So you want your rib cage to be balanced here with the support of your arms. Sweep those legs, and now reach out long through your heel and long through your tail in the other direction. So your body is pulled taut, like someone's pulling you from one end and pulling you from the other, like you are the rope in a tug of war contest. One more breath. With every exhale, lift your navel up and into your back. With every inhale, the navel can drop a little bit as you expand the abdominal wall. And then slowly to your knees. And then sit back in your child's pose. Does anyone want me to come look to see what they're doing? Shake out your hands and wrists. Do another set of this. So what you don't want to do is just go in and come up and kind of let everything sag, right? Because then you're going to feel it in your back. You're not supported in your core. But by pushing down with the arms and getting the lift and pulling the legs together, you get a lot more support. And then by adding the lengthening out to the head, out to the tail, out to the heels, your body is elongated so that you can support and distribute the weight throughout your whole structure. Do it again, right? That's what you need, sir. sorry. That was the end of the movement. Okay, and everyone soften with your knees, really relax. You want to land, so. Check out the hands again. Yeah.
It's because the turnout muscles are stronger than the parallel muscles.
Yes.
Together.
Yes. Right. Also, the thing you have to watch with this, if you tend to have a hypertrophy, right? So you want to watch with the elbows coming forward and you're locking the hand. So for someone who does hypertrophy, they would routine the eye. Yeah, so good. All right, one last one. Yes. All right, so it's all about the setup, right? So that you can feel this and get stronger in all parts of your body, not just in your hands. The legs go back, you squeeze the legs together. They could be in parallel, they could be in turnout. You want to pull the shoulders right over the wrist so that you're not, like the arms in front of you is going to be more difficult to find the support, right? Reach long with the head, reach long with the tail, feel that stretch. If you feel it in your back, lift your belly up just a little bit and push down harder with the heel of your hands to engage more into the lower part of the ribcage. You're breathing here. Full breath in, long breath out. We practice this now because when you get to the advanced mat, there's all kinds of plank variations that we do while we're moving. But unless you've got the strength to support in a static plank, you're never going to be able to manage the moving ones. And then everyone stop with your knees. Sink back into your child's pose, stretch everything out with your thumb. And then step your front bottom to top. Shake out your arms, we're done for today. Yes, good job for you. Nice work.